today, so you'll all forgive me. Where's this thing? Oh, here we go. You would think well rested after a long weekend I'd be more with it, but I'm not, clearly. And here we go in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Monday, December 9th, 2019. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Look at it. Ooh, 3D. Backwards in 3D. Look at all these trailers coming through. I don't know why, but silly YouTube. All right, good. We got questions. Well, busy weekend. Good weekend. It's funny. The line for me between hanging out with friends and hanging out with martial artists is really blurry because most of my friends are martial artists. So the question is, when you hang out and you don't do martial arts, are you hanging out with a martial arts friend, or are you just hanging out with a friend? I don't know. I don't have an answer. Friday, Saturday night, both were like that. Spending time with friends, with people that I know through martial arts. And it was nice. It was nice, just being social. And a friend came over Friday night, and we just hung out and ate and played video games, which is not something that I do often. Saturday I went out to friends and we played board games. And it was just nice. And then spent some time with my nephew yesterday. Brought him Christmas shopping and went to Burlington, ate like 3 plates of sushi. It was great. Sushi's kind of the best thing ever. So, in case anybody didn't know, it is. It's awesome. Good times. What else? That was it. I mean, it was a good weekend. A busy weekend. A lot of driving around, but simple and in a nice way. I enjoyed it. And this week is busy. There's a lot going on. A lot of appointments, a lot of meetings. As soon as I'm done with this, I have to put on real clothes and for scheduled service. Of course, yes, there's a new thing to report. I'm going to be letting them know that they have until the end of the week to put me in touch with a representative from Mazda. Otherwise, I'm going to start making videos. It's a thing I know how to do. What else is going on today? Meetings and getting some work done and just figuring it all out, Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, let's do these questions. Remember, if you want to ask me a question, drop it below. Oh, before we get into questions, duh. Okay, 2 things. It's Monday, so that means there's a new episode. Who's up today? New episode of Martial Arts Radio. And we've got episode 4. That's not the right number. Is it really? 450? Yeah. 456 with Sifu Win. So check that out, of course, here on YouTube or in your podcast feed. And then the other thing to let you know about, this is kind of a big deal. I don't know why I forgot to bring this up. I think we did this on Friday. Pretty sure we launched this on Friday. We launched this on Thursday, and I told you about it on Friday. I forgot, and I'm sorry. But we launched a Patreon. It's up. It's ready. I've got the framework of what I need to do to deliver the extra content to everyone, and we've got tiers starting at $2 a month, and the top tier right now is at $100 a month. So you get stuff. The $2 one doesn't have anything, because by the time they take their cut, we make like $1.50, if that. But for the $5 and up tiers, you get exclusive content And that's how we're going to monetize this whole thing. That's how we're going to drive this Patreon is if you want more, if everything that we're doing for free with Martial Journal and First Cup and 2 Minute Martial Arts and Martial Arts Radio and Who to Win, like if all of that, if that works for you and you're like, hey, this is enough, cool, that's fine. I'm going to continue to deliver that for free. But if you want to support it, you can chip in at patreon.com/whistlekick. I've got to put some links up from the site, various sites, to make sure that people are willing to contribute. Patreon.com/whistlekick. Patreon. That's how you spell it. But there's going to be exclusive audio, exclusive video. There's an entire show that I've had on the back burner that I've been developing a character for. Yes, it will be a fiction show, the first one. And yes, Stacey, you have been there and done that, and thank you so much. I'm very appreciative. Unlike some companies that forget about all the free supporters, because there's more than one way to support this company. I'm not going to forget about all of you. But I also need to make sure that there's enough value on the paid side that anybody who's willing to contribute feels like they're getting their money's worth and beyond their money's worth, because that's how I do business. If somebody's going to do $5 or $10 a month, I want to make sure they're getting at least $10 or $15 a month in value. I want to go above and beyond. And I have more and more and more ideas that I'll be rolling out to get you that. So that's that. Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah, let's turn to the questions. Let's get those done. Let's see what's up. Do you ever use turmeric? Yeah. Yeah, so turmeric, it's a spice. It's also used in Ayurvedic medicine, similar in the way that I learned about and use ashwagandha. Turmeric comes from the same place in the world and the same understanding of the body. Turmeric's an anti-inflammatory. It works. It has similar effects, but works in a different way than, say, something like ibuprofen or aspirin, and can be really useful. I don't use it very often because most of the inflammation occurring in my body comes from working out. Now, here's the thing. If your body's in good shape, if you are not injured, inflammation is part of the proper recovery and adaptation process. And for you to take a bunch of anti-inflammatories, whether that's turmeric or Aleve or anything, it blunts that adaptation process by reducing the inflammation. Let's say you go to the gym and you lift a bunch of weights and you come home and you wake up the next day and you're really sore. So you take some anti-inflammatories. You are going to derive less benefit, less adaptation from that workout than you would otherwise, because the inflammation signal tells the body to adapt. So what's the solution? Making sure that you don't work out too hard, that you're in pain and can't move. It's finding balance, which is pretty much the answer to everything. I don't take capsules or anything. I generally just take, I just use the spice and sprinkle it in with some food. If I do have something going on, an acute injury, and I need to reduce inflammation, I'm usually stacking a bunch of things, and I do have some curcumin root, which is the root that turmeric comes from, in capsules, and I'll take some of those. Is it magic? No, but it helps. And what's really nice about it is you can take it with other things. So you can create this whole stack of anti-inflammatories without destroying your liver. So far, what have been your favorite questions on First Cut? Two different ways I can think about this. There are the questions that make me think that I can't come up with an answer for first thing in the morning because they're too deep. Because I like thinking in that way. I think the other questions that I really enjoy are the follow-up questions, the ones that people ask on the fly when they're here live, and that, I mean, maybe that sounds silly, but I love questions. I love answering questions. Everybody knows that. But what I like about the follow-up questions is I feel like I'm having a dialogue. I feel like someone's hearing my comments and asking me to go further. And that's nice. And that's not some like cheap trick to get you to come and watch live, which I love when people come and watch live. But that's not it. It's bigger than that. It's more than that. But I don't really feel that's kind of dodging the question. So let me give you another answer. Um, I really enjoy questions about subjects that we don't generally talk about. We're usually talking about on this show. It's a lot of health and fitness and movement because those are broadly applicable questions. And that's totally cool. I like I like discussing philosophy. I like discussing what makes people tick, why. I like understanding, and when someone asks me a question that makes me contemplate and reason things out, and I come away with a better understanding, those are my favorite questions because you're teaching me by asking me a question, whether the intention is to do that or not. That's what I take away. And so I really like that. That's cool. Yeah. Of the "it has been said" quotes on the show, what have been your top three favorites? Well, first off, Frank, you're expecting that I remember everything, which is really flattering, but not even close. Um, for those of you that don't know, Frank is the wonderful person who helps put this show together, make sure that I always have questions to answer. And I think one of his favorite kinds of questions have to do with putting a quote or two out there and, you know, what do you think about this quote? And the quotes are from famous people, from authors or from athletes or celebrities. And what do you think of this quote? And I like answering those. Most of the questions, most of those quotes, um, are pretty easy to understand. Some of them have really made me think, and there have been a few that I've kind of thrown up my hands on, and Frank's emailed me and said, "This is where that was going," which I love it. Um, so I'm not going to be able to answer that without doing a bunch of research, really. But I think I can pop back real quick uh, in these notifications and see what we got. Um, oh, the book is ready for pre-order. I believe both. I definitely is Kindle, and I'm pretty sure paperback. I think I got the paperback ready. Martial Artist Handbook on Amazon, pre-order. Maybe not the paperback. I don't remember because I don't remember setting a price on it. I think it was being grumpy. I'll have to figure that out. But we've got until Friday to get that ready. Friday the 13th. Yes, that's when I release books. Um, we haven't had it has been said, too many of them recently. Remember, there's no such thing as a small act of kindness. Every act creates a ripple with no logical end. That kind of stuff. I'm going to be honest, Frank. You do a great job overall, but you do a really good job when you pick out those quotes because they're powerful. And I don't know where you're getting them, but I find them to be inspiring. It When I read through those quotes, they tend to make me react in one of two ways. So I'm going to answer this in a completely different way than he asked it. It's not that I have favorites, or non-favorite, less favorite quotes from what you select. It's the majority of them have me nodding my head and saying yes. I think most people would agree with this, and of course, then I apply it to martial arts. But there are a few that make me say, and I can reason through most of those and express an opinion. Of course, I mentioned there are some that I have to kind of go through my day and figure out. But it's those ones that I look at and say, all right, that maybe the application is not so obvious. And you can do that with martial arts, right? You can look at a form, you can look at a sequence of techniques, and maybe you look at it and think, this is really weird. I don't understand this move. Why is this move here? And yeah, there could be something there. How do you get there? How do you find it? If what's an interesting thing is you go through your martial arts forms and your application. In Japanese, it's called bunkai. I don't know what the term is in other martial arts, but if you're looking at your forms through that perspective, that lens, that it all has value, it all has application. Sometimes you got to do some gymnastics, some mental gymnastics to say, oh, this is what you're doing in this form here. This is how this goes. And kind of do the same thing with some of the quotes. Some of them, it's brutally obvious how it applies. That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But then others, it's, all right, let me find a way to make this apply to martial arts. So, kind of like what I just did with that question. I didn't even come close to answering it. But that's what we're going to have to run with. So, all right. Rest of the day. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to check out the martial arts radio episode. I want you to go to the Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick. And I'm not saying you have to or even should leave a sponsorship. But I want you to check out what's there and see if that works for you. I want you to go to Amazon, check out the book, The Martial Artist Handbook. And I'm not saying you have to buy it. I'm not suggesting that there's any kind of requirement there. But I'd like you to check it out and see what you think. Because here's the deal. I don't want you to buy things simply because we do free stuff. I want you to buy things because we do free stuff and you believe that the money you're going to spend on this other stuff is worthwhile based on the free stuff. It's kind of like saying, hey, this restaurant gives me one meal a week and it's really good food, but they're open other times. Why would I not come back and eat more great food? Right? That's kind of what we're going for, making sure that there's enough value that people are happy to part with their money. That's the best way to run a business as far as I'm concerned. That's what we're doing. Okay. All right. Final thoughts. First, subscribe, turn on notifications. You're going to see a whole bunch of new teasers and other content coming through in the next few weeks as a prompt to get you to consider the new shows that we're putting only on Patreon. There's one I'm really excited about in particular. There'll be video episodes, audio episodes, new shows, all that. That's one. Two, if you want to ask a question, I hope you do. Drop it below. Let's uh, let's give Frank some help. As great a job as he does answering questions, I suspect he would like to have some variety. I like variety. Variety is good. Uh, let's do 3. Homework. Well, your homework's to check out those things I gave you. Let's not make it more complicated than that. And of course, if you have feedback, like if you're looking at the Patreon and you think, hey, uh, Jeremy, what you have up is great. That doesn't really work for me. I would love to see you doing something more like this or more like that. Please give me feedback. By the same token with the book, if you think the description sucks and doesn't sell the book well, I want to hear that from you. If you don't like the cover, it just doesn't mean I'm going to change things, but if you have feedback, I want to hear it, because that's how I get better. So I'm going to go. Ask questions, answer questions, listen to other people's answers to questions. I hope you have a great day. Stay warm, enjoy life, train. That's it. Take care. Peace.